Welcome to the Innovation Conversation, a podcast about innovators, both in business and real life. Hosted by myself, Ricardo Pascual, and Harry McDonough. Today's episode is sponsored by Hyperskill. Hyperskill is a learning and training platform that enables people from all over the world to learn new tech skills. If you're looking to learn new tech skills, this is a platform to choose. You can find out more about them on hyperskill.org. Today we are talking with Alessio Rico from Jamr.AI, an AI business that helps companies craft compelling content anywhere and everywhere.
Welcome to another episode of the Innovation Conversation. Alessio, it's a pleasure having you here. Both me and Harry are very excited to hear all about Jamr.AI. So tell us about Jamr.AI. What is it? What does it do?
Well, thank you for inviting me.
No pleasure.
So, Jamr.AI is a tool that helps creative writers to accelerate their production of content. Mm-hmm. It helps them to generate, to curate, to repurpose their content, and also to automate their content generation workflow.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's a project that we start in July, mm-hmm. and we are still evolving with the help of our community that we are building day by day, and they are helping us to improve it.
So who would you say is like your primary audience? Who would go on Jamr.ai and say, this is perfect for me, exactly what I've been looking for?
Well, our users are mostly content writers, mm-hmm. journalists, creative writers, and people that want to improve their content creation skills. Maybe they are not very good, they don't feel very proficient in creative writing or in translations, and so they are fundamentally freelancers.
I know we struggle with content writing, right? It's always a nightmare to write this many pieces of content, so it's a really good tool. And you said translation as well, because you were telling us that it helps you to translate things into other content to other languages, right?
Yes, we have different functions. No, some are mostly for text analysis. Some other are for adapting your content to social media, mm-hmm. and then we have also the translation functions. Currently, we have 20 languages, mm-hmm. but from the next week, probably we'll go to 100 languages.
100. What's the hardest language so far to translate?
Well, I think that if we go to some kind of a dialect from South Africa and things like that, I think that...
Not Russian or Chinese or Mandarin?
No. I think that one of the problem when it's about languages that are not using the Latin alphabet, probably there will be some problem of adaptation, left to right, Cyrillic, or kanji, but we are working on it.
So when did you come up with the idea for this?
So it was some months ago. I built as a sort of bet with my friends. I built a Chrome plugin. Now those extensions that you can put on your browser, and those extension was able to separate fact from opinion from an article that was on your web page. So you were going, on the BBC, you were calling that plugin, and it was able to read the article and tell you what are the facts, what were the opinions. At that point, from that thing that was working very well, it has a discrete success. We decided, why we don't extend it and we implement more function. But for doing this, we needed to make a website with a backend, all the things. So this is how Jamr born.
Interesting. This is your first startup, or you've actually done more things before, right?
Well, this is the first startup I'm building. Mm-hmm. But I have a past as a startupper for many other companies. One in Ireland called Karma, that currently is in Austin, and it was an automotive startup. Mm-hmm. We were helping people in their carpooling experience, mm-hmm. And we had a user base in the USA, in Ireland, and in Sweden. And the second, instead, is the startup that I left a few days ago as a Dash. Mm-hmm. I was the CTO as a startup based in California. and is a big data and AI company with a focus on hospitality and restaurants.
So do you see a lot of companies, because we come across a lot of companies doing AI now.
Yeah.
How are you seeing this? Do you see like a lot of companies saying we absolutely need AI, or are they still thinking maybe we should get on the bandwagon or not? So
Well, that's interesting. Example, I can tell you about my experience. When we start in Dash 2 years ago to create our data platform, we needed a lot of AI, but the main problem was which kind of AI we were looking for, because what we were doing was matching a product from different invoices and understanding if those products that come from the invoices are the same or not. And if they are the same, which probability is that they are the same product?
okay.
Because if you have two different invoices, the product itself is described with two different labels, string, coding, and etc. So the problem was matching those things. And so we start using fuzzy matching, that is a technique. The second was using clustering, another machine learning technique. And at the end, when last year ChatGPT exploded, we start saying, well, why we don't use generative AI for categorize, matching those things and see if it can help us.
Yeah.
And we noticed that it was very effective. We were, let's say, early adopters of this technique. We made some errors along the journey, but now is currently part of our software, a big part of generative AI that is helping us for classification. So, other companies obviously jump on the wagon.
Yeah.
They start saying we are AI whatever.
And
they try to plug AI in some way in their product.
Maybe we should do the same, no?
We
Call
should.
it the innovation conversation AI.
Yes, maybe you can.
It sound a lot better. No, but we use quite a lot of AI in our own podcast, for example. The snippets we put on social media are actually generated by AI, and it works super well. And there's no reason for us not to use it, because doing it manually will take hours and hours, where you click a button and within, 10 minutes, it's all done. So it's pretty good.
I think that the generative AI is so disruptive that it will become the new web, the new mobile paradigm, something that is not necessary to specify that you are doing it, because it will be part of your process.
So walk me through a bit through Jamr, because if, let's say I'm a content creator, right?
Yeah.
And I need to, like we do, we need to post a lot of stuff on social. How do I get started with Jamr? So just go on the website, log in, do the whole thing, and then it schedules the posts, or it actually creates all the content by itself based on my intent?
So you can sign up on Jamr, Jamr.AI, and you have 50 credits for starting using the app for free. Okay. And then you have 3 different environments where you can use Jamr. The first one is the most simple, most intuitive environment. Is called the curator. You can input a prompt or a URL or a text, select one function, select your favorite language for the output, select the tone of voice and the audience, press a button and enjoy the output. That's it.
Okay.
Very
cool,
simple, straightforward. And then the output you can copy and use it as you like. The second one is the editor. If you want a fine-tuning, if you want instead to apply AI function not to the whole text, but only on a paragraph, on a piece of text, you can use the editor environment. That is more, I would say, more intricate, a little bit with more functions, but it allows you to have more control. The third one, instead, is the workflow. And the workflow is for people that has repetitive task that they want to automate. Example, for your podcast.
Yes.
Imagine that at the end of the podcast you want to take the transcription, give the transcription to Jamr and say, okay, now I want a summary I want a blog post, a post on LinkedIn,
Good,
tweet,
uh-huh.
and maybe the tweet you make it in English, and you make it also on, I don't know, Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
You can design, literally drawing on the screen with the blocks and connector,
Oh, wow, that's pretty
this
cool.
workflow,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can press run and let it go. And after 1 minute, you have all those contents ready
Mm-hmm.
to be used, copied, and distributed. And obviously, because it's a repeatable task, because you have many episodes of this podcast, this can be saved and reused every time.
Can it be used for video as well?
Well, we would like. Give us time. We start in July. We build a company in July. We are
It's a very early stage.
Yes, absolutely. A
So-
very early stage, but you can use the product.
That's really good though. It's quick. Coming from nothing in July to having something that's almost ready to go out to market. So it's a very quick.
Well, let's say
turnaround.
that me and the co-founder James, we are, how to say, very used to build software and build solution, and usually we help a team to make things faster and better. So this time we were the team, so we demonstrate that we can do it by ourselves. But obviously we need a team for implementing things like the video and or images. Example, we would like to help to generate images with the content. So say this is the content.
Generate the images.
Yes,
Like
generate
Midjourney does the.
something like that. Maybe we can use instead of Midjourney, DALI.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the idea is to have a team that help us to implement all the new function that we want.
It makes sense because right now there's so much content out there, and the word on the street is produce as much content as possible, post it out there, and you're going to get a lot of traction, right? But if you have an element of AI, it's actually going to help a lot of people because it's not easy to produce that much content. It's definitely not easy to translate it to another language, and it's an absolute nightmare to try and summarize whatever you're talking about into just a small article, right? So I can definitely see the use for it.
Yeah. Example, we have two function for summarize and another one instead for simplify the text.
Also
That
useful,
it means, okay, I don't understand what this text is meaning. Can you simplify it for me? So you can use it, and this is very good for me.
Do you know what I'd be really interested in is if you could take this technology and apply search engine optimization to it. So that's a really big thing at the moment, and something ChatGPT and a lot of the other tools are kind of neglecting is they're producing text that is already out there and not unique, and having unique text in the world of SEO, search engine optimization, is the best way to go. And if you can do this for other countries, especially emerging markets, is that something you'd be looking into as well? Because that's something that I would think is a gold mine if you can get it right and all that content actually ranks on Google.
This is something that there is a discussion about it. I think that for Jamr can be very, very interesting for developing countries that they don't have maybe access to English content, and instead they can repurpose English content in their language and how to say, accelerate the productivity of people that is living in countries like in Far East or in Africa. And I think that this is one very, very interesting part of our business.
Definitely.
It's a sort of democratizing the adoption of AI, especially for content writing.
Well, especially because it's a very good market to get into the search engine optimization space, because it gives a new angle to say we can mass produce this. As Ricardo said, the more content out there, the better. But if you can get that content to actually index on Google and Bing and all the other search engines, you're suddenly onto a winning, I would say, platform. And that's a great way to go about it.
But example, another interesting tool that you can use on Jamr now in this moment as what we call the strategy brief. Fundamentally, you take a document, you apply the strategy brief, is able to tell you what is the sentiment of that document, what is the summary, facts and opinion, and then a set of call to action that you can do taken by the text. Fundamentally, a bullet list of actionable items. And imagine this applied to, example, a financial report. Sometimes you read a document that contains very sensitive information. You are not able immediately to understand what are the facts and the opinions, and also what are the actionable items that are hidden in that text. You can try Jamr and see what happens.
Interesting, yes, because it's English, or actually any language, it's always a bit hard to fully understand what someone else wrote down, right? You need to have a certain degree of literacy to fully understand exactly what they want from that document, right? And sometimes people have a very clear writing, other times they have a very, how should I put this, a very complex writing, and it's very hard to understand the facts from fiction. So having a tool like that, that's definitely a game changer.
Yes. Also, one thing that I tried, and in this case we don't talk about Jamr, but in general with the LLM, is how interesting is if you have an idea to use a tool like a ChatGPT or Bard to help you to develop in terms of content this idea. I try, example, writing a book, writing a story. And I noticed how was interesting to have this relationship with the AI, using it not like an oracle, but as a sort of partner that you can work in pairing. Like, okay, I would like to develop this character. How?
What should you
ask me the right questions about it. And see how the AI is able to asking you the right questions for developing. The same thing is something that in the future we could help and add in Jamr, to have Jamr not only as let's say a servant that is executing what you are asking, but also as a sort of creative writer partner that is able to give you suggestions.
It's interesting because I don't think a lot of people know this, but when you ask ChatGPT or any AI to write something, if you mention, I want you to write in this specific style, I want you to write like I was Hemingway, I want you to write like Alan Poe, and he actually changes the reply he gives you, right?
Yes,
it's so powerful.
Is it the ChatGPT idea of Hemingway? More than Hemingway.
So how would you go about checking plagiarism? Because I reckon there'll be thousands of uni students who will bite your hand off right there if you can say, Jamr can, the content we produce, it can't be checked. It can't be. There's no tool out there at the moment that can say it's plagiarized, it's taken from these sources. Is that something out there? Or?
Well, about the plagiarism, the problem is that you need to have a huge data set of data to check. To understand if this what we are able to do currently in Jamr instead is to recognize how much AI looks like your text, and I'm developing a tool for humanize your content. So make it make the content more similar to a human-made content than an AI generated.
So it's actually going to be harder for any university teacher to look at.
I have a friend that she is a university teacher. She is a lecturer in Italian literature. That she hates me for that.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine that.
But the problem is that obviously AI comes with a very strong ethical subject that we need to consider, but it's also true that what happens in computer science is that if you can do something, these things will be done. So the problem is not that companies like Jamr should not do things, because we are so small that if we don't do,
you need to do them.
Google can do it. Microsoft can do it. Instead, it's much better that there is a movement a strong opinion about what ethical AI should be and make everyone adopting it. That's
But where do you set the line? Because ethics is an interesting thing, right? So it depends on the culture, it depends on the background. There's many ways of, defining our moral standards. But when you're creating a company from scratch like you are, in terms of the ethics for the AI, where do you place the bar?
That's interesting. I think that in our case, our is a tool for generating content,
Mm-hmm.
and we are using currently as a LLM OpenAI. No, in the future we'll use a different LLM. It depends only by the availability of the API, and we already have a broker layer that is able to switch from one AI to another. What I think it will happen is that at a certain point, all the problems related to plagiarism and copyright will be delegated to our service provider, because our service provider are OpenAI, it will be Bard, and etc. We can only, how to say, limit the functions that we are doing to be ethical. But in terms of LLM, we are using a service, and this service should be ethical. By the way, OpenAI, as I know, is a thin line, but is about who is the responsibility of. No, OpenAI has some APIs where you can inspect the content, the prompt that you are submitting to understand how much sex, violence, and other metrics are relevant in a way that you can apply a certain filter. And this, at least, is something that we can do at Jamr and avoid that a certain kind of content can be created.
Okay, I want to go back slightly to the mention of the Italian lecturer you're working with and the content produced. How accurate was it? Because you mentioned you're working with multiple languages in different countries, and if you were to take, let's say, this to either South Korea or somewhere in Saudi and say, hey, can you compare these notes to what you would write, and is this credible? What would they say?
What do you mean credible? Credible like a
this is high end. This is high end. This would actually be seen as someone's written it in our language. If I was to take it to a university that has a translation department, they can say, wow, this is something that is of a high standard that we would do. Is that something that you
currently the LLM quality of translation is very good, but I don't think that is at the level of a professional translator, especially for certain languages. What you can expect is a level that is for sure above the classic manual from I don't know, something bought on AliExpress translating in English. I think that the way you have to approach the problem is that you have the translation, and then you save time in doing the big part of the work, and then you have always to read again and validate the translation and correct. Personally, I'm not happy even by the English that is produced by ChatGPT.
That's a good question. How do you deal with colloquial expressions? Because, for example, if we were to say, I've done this on the fly, for example, and then you translate it, you cannot translate, oh, he's done that on the fly, because it doesn't make any sense.
I never see errors like this in a translation example from English to Italian. It never does let's say a literal translation. Is able to understand those things
and translate the meaning as well.
Well, yes, or avoid.
What about a simpler one, such as translating American English to UK and English?
Well,
because you got the Z, don't you? The Z and the S.
You can do it. Example, in Jamr we have Australian English and American English, because that was something that our users ask us. My co-founder is Australian, so we
didn't imagine Australian English.
Well, Australian English is
didgeridoo. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, things like that. But you're from New Zealand as well, so you should know a couple.
Oh, they have a very weird language to us. More swear words.
I think that there is something between New Zealand and Australia, no? In terms of
better English, let's put it. But if we went back to how you came across, or how you went about developing your MVP within that 3-month timescale, for our audience, how did you do it so quickly? Did you just build everything using a specific programming languages, or did you use some of the no-code tools?
Yeah, we come to a decision in terms of the technology to use. And we use, obviously, the workflow part is wrote in React.JS. Instead, all the other parts are classic vanilla JavaScript and jQuery. The infrastructure in terms of the front end, we are using Webflow. Webflow is a tool for, let's say, no code. It's not true that it's not code. There is always code, right? But really, it helps you to save a lot of time. And because we were in MVP, because we were trying to validate our idea and see how fast we were able to make people start enjoying our software, we were not willing to spend too much time in, let's say, managing the users, login, Stripe for the subscription. So we fundamentally use MemberStack and Webflow, and then all the other part of the code, React.js, vanilla, JavaScript, and an infrastructure that is running on AWS.
So how many users do you have at the moment, if you don't mind?
Currently we are at 120 users.
It's pretty good, to be fair.
And for subscriptions, people that is paying. And we are growing, let's say 20% every week, but well, I hope that it will continue. Maybe we can improve it.
And do you retain them as well? They stay on the platform?
Yeah, they stay on the platform, at least until they don't finish their 50 credits.
Yeah, that's
and someone subscribe with another email, so they are using all the tricks that you can have with the Gmail.
Oh, I do that. I do every single week that one. Yeah, I do it all the time. Yeah.
And yes, some of them are very nice to us. They are writing a feedback. But for us, is gold having the feedback, and we collect and we really read the feedback, and we implement the suggestion from that.
It's quite impressive though. Starting the company in July, by October, you're going to have paying users, and everything is kind of growing so well. That's quite impressive. It's
really a thing for me.
And you're also bootstrapping, right? So this is all done without any investment.
It's all on our shoulders for now. We are looking for investors. We were not very active until now. Probably we already have a business plan. We have the pitch deck. We already spoke with one investor. But I would say we are a little bit shy, probably, that we want everything top-notch, clean, perfect before showing to the investors. But we'll start in a few days.
Have you ever tried reaching out to universities and working with them? Because again, if you look at certain universities, even in London, or if I take Essex, for instance, Essex has probably one of the largest data sets of international students in the UK. And a lot of them are probably from either China, I say Russia, Middle Eastern, and all over the place. Essentially, they got a populace around 14,000. But having something like that going into a uni that has such a diverse background, just for individuals to test it out, build up your user base, and get that validation, is that something you've ever considered?
That is an amazing idea, and I think that is the classic suggestion that will take and will transform in an action. Yes, I think that having a community of users that want to help us, especially with the translation, understanding how good is the translation, that would be great.
Especially with most of them, they have to come out and do their IELTS, don't they? So a lot of them don't actually
do the what? Sorry?
IELTS. It's basically an English written test to show that they have the, let's say, our GCSEs. So in UK you have GCSEs. Over there they have different qualifications, but when an international individual comes over, they have to do something called the IELTS, which is essentially, if they score a level, I think it's 6, 7 or 8, they can then go on and do further education in the UK. It just shows that their level of English is up to a standard to understand what they're going to be doing, doing the education, speaking it as well. So it's quite a strict process, but being able to translate it over would be something very interesting to them, especially in their home countries, and even coming over here and immersing themselves in.
Example, I would like also to see, not only in terms of students and using Jamr for let's say their essay and etc. At the end, I know that it will end even if my friend from Italy is against. But example, journalists that they want to repurpose their articles in different languages and selling it to different newspapers, magazines, or publishing on different blogs in different languages.
I could throw something out there. So I used to work for an events company, an international events company, and I'm not going to put the name out there, but essentially they would go out and act as a middleman for universities and students, international students. And they would go out and, let's say, go to America, they would work with Duke and some very large universities to help them with their international recruitment purposes. And a big aspect of that was taking all of their current English content and translating it over into Portuguese, Spanish, Italian. And that was a very, very expensive process for them. And bear in mind that also printing it off, distributing it out, getting all these individuals that have just, the basics of English to really look into this content and read it. I think it's a very good market.
If you see, a tool like Jamr would be great for who has the need of translate, or also for the translator itself, because it can do the most boring part of the job, and then you can reread and let's say verify that everything is fine. This means you can do more translation in more languages in less time.
It's quite powerful for growing companies, isn't it? Because all of a sudden you can actually reach out to new markets very easily and at the click of a button, which before would probably take a little bit longer because you need to adapt all the content, make sure the translation is spot on, and this kind of simplifies things.
That is the reason why Jamr exists. More on repurposing the content on different media and in different format, but also in different languages. Yes.
Right. So what's your next steps of your journey, if you don't mind divulging that?
Well, this is interesting. I have a lot of ideas, and I'm discussing with James, the co-founder, and we agree that one of the things is helping small business like agencies, marketing, and advertisement team that are working in advertisement in creating content that is following the brand identity of their clients. So it means, imagine you have a company, I don't know, I say a name, I imagine Coca-Cola. Okay, they have a book with their brand identity, what are how the messages, how the output should be brought, in which kind of terms, which words that they have to not be used, concept, etc. And imagine to feed this into an LLM that is starting talking like a creative agency for Coca-Cola.
That is quite powerful, isn't it?
And then you can use a Jamr and start creating content like people from that.
Like the voice you want to take from the brand. That is super powerful.
Yes.
Because I think that's always the hardest thing when you're creating content for any brand is, okay, what's our voice?
Exactly. And this is one of the reasons we are looking for investors, because obviously this is above our possibilities in terms of bootstrapping. Yeah, but we know what to do, how to do it, and the idea is to give LLM that are trained with the brand identity of the clients. Of the agencies, and at that point the agency is able to use a Jamr with their.
I'm just thinking it's also quite disruptive for the market overall, because big brands normally go for very big agencies, whereas if you actually have the smaller brands understand the message very well and be able to create tons of content before a meeting and say, hey, we got all this content and it actually matches your brand identity, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we don't mind going with a smaller brand, because you kind of hit the nail on the head with that one, right? So.
And this will help also small companies to have a better client, bigger clients.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the things. The second is to increase the amount of sources that we can read, like reading a PDF, larger text, or transcription from a YouTube videos, in a way that we can create and repurpose more content from more diverse data sources. Those are the first two main things that we want to implement.
And I guess if people want to find you online,
Yeah.
how can they do that?
So if people want to find me, they can find me on LinkedIn, on my name, Alessio Ricco. They can find me on Twitter, Alessio Ricco, the handle. So it's very simple. And otherwise, they can write me an email at alessio@Jamr.AI, and that's it. And obviously, I invite them to try Jamr.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And then before we go, how much are you looking to raise?
Well, that's an interesting. That's an interesting
Give us a
thing.
ballpark figure, because like we spoke before, so kind of told us it's between something and something. So just give us.
Yes, we have
a
we made a business plan, and fundamentally what we are willing to raise is something that goes from 400 to 800,000 pounds. And the reason is that we envision the problem, and we have, let's say, 3 tiers. 3 tiers that it means that depending by the funding, what we'll do. And with 400,000, we'll build a company, we'll create a team, possibly remote team that is part of our experience. We know how to work with them, and also we want to specialists in marketing and sales that will help us to be immediately profitable as fast as we can, and we'll go to look immediately for a seed.
And are you SCIS and EIS registered?
Not yet, but we are doing this step. We are going in this direction.
Right, we started in July. We're October, and already have a couple paying users and all that. So yeah.
Well, I can tell you that me and James, we know each other since 7 years, and we work together already in 2 companies. And one was a startup in California. And in 2 years, we scale up the team from 2 to 18 people. I joined the company. James was a co-founder of the previous of Dash. I joined a little bit later, before the pre-seed. We had a pre-seed of $1.5 million and a seed last June of $3.5 million. So we are used to do fast, get things done very fast.
Well, we'll see you getting an IPO in the next year.
That would be lovely.
All right. Alessio, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure having you here. And best of luck with Jamr. We are definitely signing up with multiple emails, by the way.
Absolutely. It's fine. It's fine. I will.
Delete us.
Thank you.
I will close my eyes. Thank you. Thank you for this conversation. It was great.